So, Reid.
Yeah.
Can you get herpes II from cuddling?
I'm Reid Mahalko from ReidAboutSex.com.
I'm Cathy Bartulli from theintimacydojo.com.
And the answer is technically yes. Don't get scared, kids, or adults, or anybody who's watching. There's a lot to talk about, but first, if you have herpes II, or herpes I, HSV I or HSV II, genitally speaking, you're having an outbreak or maybe not having an outbreak. I'll make this make sense in a minute. And it's either in your genitals or on your face. Because now you could have herpes I or herpes II in either location. Herpes I tends to stick around your face orally. Herpes II tends to stick around your genitals. But it's maybe herpes is morphing a little bit, or we have better testing, so now we really know. It doesn't really matter. Don't think about HSV I versus II. That's really not the point for us, for medical doctors and technicians. Maybe that's the point. But for this video, certainly, if you have herpes, can give herpes to somebody.
Whether you're having an outbreak or not.
Because it's skin-to-skin contact. So if we're cuddling... cuddling.
Wow. You cuddle strange.
So yummy cuddling. Now, I could give her herpes, but herpes to her forehead, cuddling. That's not where herpes goes. It's more of a like near her mouth, cuddling so good. Right? So I could transmit, I could expose her to herpes. If I'm shedding, which is a technical term for when the herpes virus is active and can be transmitted. You can be shedding with or without an outbreak. This we know now because we have better testing.
Yeah.
And it used to be that we thought you were only contagious when you were having an outbreak. That's not true. So, some people have herpes and have never had an outbreak, and they've never been tested, so they just don't know.
A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people actually have herpes.
Yeah. Herpes isn't as big of a deal as culture wants to shame people.
It wasn't even a disease until like the 1950s.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, Cathy knows something I didn't know.
Media likes to find ways to make us feel ashamed of our bodies and need to treat things. Yeah. And
the cold sore that Aunt Gertrude had at Thanksgiving, that's herpes, folks. So don't be cuddling with Aunt Gertrude. But she might give me herpes. So, that being said, if I have herpes around my genitalia or around my anus, which you can, if we're cuddling naked, genitals to genitals, or genital to face, down there, you can be exposing each other. I just want to do it. Cuddling. Okay. You can expose each other or be exposed to.
Yeah.
Exposure doesn't mean you get it. Okay? So again, you could, make out with somebody who has herpes, find out later and be like, "Oh my God, am I going to get herpes?" And you might not get it. Making out with somebody who has the cold sore or giving oral sex to somebody who's having an outbreak, now we know you're being exposed because they're definitely shedding, and you've increased your odds of possibly contracting the herpes. That's all when you really get geeky and break it down. But herpes is a skin-to-skin contact thing. You can get it from people when they're not having an outbreak. But if they're fully clothed and Cathy's wearing a ski mask, then we're fine. Because there's no skin-to-skin contact, which is why barriers, dental dams, condoms, and things like that help prevent exposure to skin-to-skin. And also things like underwear and jeans and clothes.
Yeah. And I think when you destigmatize herpes, it's not as scary as a lot of people think. I think, isn't it like a third of the people have herpes I and 16% of the population has herpes II. So
I think it's
high numbers.
It's a lot, and the numbers change a little bit because we're getting better testing to understand herpes, HSV I, HSV II. So those numbers are changing a little bit. Usually what we know now is more people have it because they've never been tested, so they just don't know, and they're asymptomatic. And herpes for the most part, is never life-threatening. It's super dangerous if you are having an outbreak genitally and you're giving birth. So unless you're pregnant and having, an outbreak and about to give birth, which then they're just going to give you a C-section.
Yeah.
So again, I know a lot about herpes because I have HSV I, right? But at the same time, and I'm a geek, but for the most part, it's not a life-threatening disease. You are not you're not putting people's lives at risk, but it's very culturally loaded.
Yes, and you make your own choices. I have 2 partners that have HSV I, and I've been with them active for a while, and I've never tested positive for it. Mm-hmm. But I tell my other partner, if I play with anyone else, I do share that I have partners that have HSV I.
Cool. Got it. We hope that helps. That was a lot of information, but cuddling.
Don't let it stop you from connecting with people.
Mm-hmm. And disclose that you have herpes 1 or 2, or that you're afraid of getting it, and start the conversation. Because again, if somebody has it, and you can still cuddle with them, just don't be drooling all over their face, as demonstrated so eloquently in this video. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. Cuddle on.